Welcome to my humble abode. I am here today. My name is Angelo. In case you don't know me, I'm sure most of you watching this probably do. But I am a survivor, just as all of you are. We've all been through some forms of trauma in our lives, whether we acknowledge it or not. We've all gone through experiences that have injured us, have sculpted us, molded us into the person that we are today, leaving us with some levels of inhibition, some protectors, which manifest themselves in a variety of different ways. Um, Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about self-care. This is something I've been thinking about a lot, being a very um, apprehensive and self-conscious in the wrong way person. I'm not talking necessarily about narcissism, but I'm talking about apprehensive uh, self-awareness, in that I'm worried about how and what the things I say, how they will affect others, how I will be perceived. Am I coming across the way my intentions are um, have have built themselves up in myself? I want to be heard the way I mean to speak. I want my thoughts to go to my speech, to go to the person who's receiving those in the communication model, to be understood, just as we all want to be understood. Anyways, back to self-care versus selfishness. I found a good quote today from, I believe the woman is Kelly Ruta, and Kelly says that self-care is choosing to honor your inner wants and needs in order to fulfill your potential, discover your purpose, and experience joy. Sometimes that requires putting yourself ahead of someone else. Self-care allows for more sharing and nurturing because there is plenty to give without being depleted or exhausted. And you can check out more about that at kellyruta, ruta.com / selfish. All right. So, relating to this topic, I wanted to talk about some of the self-care and self-preservation models, issues that I wanted to address today, and I hope that you can get something out of this. My main identity has been for a while my survivorship of my brain tumor, and the symptom which is greatest is epilepsy, something that I've struggled with a lot, and some of the symptoms of the medications that have impacted me severely throughout this process, namely at this moment, lorazepam, uh, levetiracetam, aka Keppra, and triliptal, which is also known as oxcarbazepine. These are some potent drugs. These drugs uh, leave me manic, depressed. Depressed, I'd say, is the main one. Unmotivated. Um, makes it difficult for me, or I make it difficult when using these to do the things that I need to do. So, in order to combat these factors, I am working very hard, very steadfastly on healing. And one of the main things that I do every day, not to its totality, because no one can do that, it's not possible to be perfect, but it is nutrition. So I always try to juice. I have a Vitamix. I make greens, beets, all kinds of smoothies. I eat healthy fruits such as this donut peach. I like to try different things. Lemon. I could show you, but I've got cereal over here. Um, Organic coconut milk. Very ripe oranges, and one of my favorites, turmeric ginger tea with coconut and other things in there that I enjoy. This being the fourth year that I've worked with the National Brain Tumor Society, I've pushed very hard to raise money for this organization, which has ties to testing, research, education, and from what I understand, a cure for brain tumors. Curation is much different than healing. I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. I'll say that again. Curation, getting cured, is much different than healing. I think healing, when seen as the ultimate focus, can really make a difference and improve your overall outlook. If you're someone with an illness, some kind of a terminal issue, whatever you want to call it, a life-changing illness, looking at healing. And what the difference really is curing is looking to say, let's say someone has a brain tumor. I'll use myself for as an example. Now, initially when I was diagnosed, my whole focus was, how can I get rid of this brain tumor? Because if I get rid of this brain tumor, everything that's a part of this brain tumor is going to disappear with it. The epilepsy, the depression, the mood swings, the anxiety, all of these things that go with a substantial size left parietal and partial frontal lobe oligodendroglioma brain tumor. How can I get rid of this? And scouring the internet, talking to as many neurologists and neurosurgeons and doctors and naturopaths and everybody that I can that has some input. A lot of people talking about cannabis, what to eat, what not to eat, nutritionists, I couldn't find anything that said that there is a cure for this. I found some what I considered at the time extreme means in which to delete a brain tumor, but these were also, again, along the lines of healing, not curing, and these involve mindfulness, meditation, diet, sleep, just a balance of everything within life. And I think that is key. But how does that fit into everyone's life? It's difficult. People are on the go. People are anxious. We live in a society where everything is hitting us all at once. Well, I think one of the keys for me is to find new purposes each day. What can I do today to put a new spin on my life? How can I make today, this moment, because this moment, as we all discussed before, is all you have, obviously. The past is a concept of what memories construe as a belief to where you are now. They've provided you with insights and judgments and experiences that you have deducted into where you are at this moment. And so now you have a perspective of the world and how it works based on all those experiences. And from there, we tend a lot to project ahead to what's going to happen next, how this next situation is going to turn out. We construct meanings of things. It's a piece of paper, right? It's a piece of paper. Why? Because I've seen a million pieces of paper before. It has lines, feels like a piece of paper, looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Must be a duck, right? Same with anything. Not just objects, but situations. And that's why we prejudge pretty much everything. And it works to our favor in many instances. I mean, without looking ahead, we won't be able to plan. Just excuse me if I have crap all over my face. It's juice and teas and things like that. But planning ahead is an essential part of staying present, because the present moves as a one fluent, not to get too philosophical with you, but the present becomes the present, becomes the present, becomes the present, right? So as I was started talking here on this video 10 minutes ago or so, I've arrived at a different place where I am now, but where am I going with this? Well, essentially, I wanted to tell you that I have to save myself before I can save or help anyone else. And not just save, help. Help and save, I guess, somewhat synonymous. So, um, going back to Kelly Ruta's um, self-care, about choosing to honor your inner wants and needs in order to fulfill your potential, discover your purpose, and experience your joy. Um, there's a quote on her site that the site is Selfish versus Self-Care, Know the Difference by Kelly Ruta. I think this really summates it the best. I can only please one person per day. Today I choose me. Well, yes, of course. Now, some people would say, I'm thinking of a person who behaves in such a manner as a narcissist, because narcissists are always about me, 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 me. Well, there is a distinct difference between being a narcissist and being someone who um, is self-caring. Because obviously, a narcissist can be manifested in someone who's always dredging and who's always talking about how bad their life is and how awful things are. Everything in this world ultimately roots back to our own ego. Ego meaning I in Latin. Our body, our space is the vessel for our own consciousness. And if we are looking from anyone else's perspective, we're still seeing it through our own, because that's our own interpretation of someone else's interpretation. There's nothing else that we have to go on except our own experiences. Sorry, ooh, a little bit of allergies. So, all this being said, I am pursuing further. I went on a trip recently to Ecuador, and of that, I think besides the wonderful times that I had with my friends uh, and the new friends that I met there, was a lot of healing. And healing being separate from curing, because whether or not I am able to delete the conditions that have troubled me, for example, again, brain tumor, epilepsy, there is healing, which is the means and process in which I am able to deal with these situations. And these are things that are not overnight. You know, I've read some books by authors like Eckhart Tolle or whoever, and they talk about how they had an epiphany one day and their life changed forever. And I don't doubt that these things are possible, but for someone like me, it hasn't happened yet, and I'm in constant. I'm constantly seeking out my own sense of enlightenment. I think it's come, but I think that for a lot of people, realistically, it's incremental. And I definitely feel as though a lot of times I would be very reactive. I still am in many ways, but I think that being able to be still with myself is something that I'm still working on every day. Anyways, back to Ecuador. Thanks to some friends who helped me to get there, I'm really appreciative. And if I don't say your names more often, then I apologize. But you know who you are, and I want you to know how grateful that I truly am. I found this, not this bottle, but what the contents inside is water. It's water that was filtered and essentially blessed. And I know some of you out there, either atheists or agnostics, I know because I am an agnostic of sorts myself, um, wouldn't wouldn't stand to listen to something of this sort. But the energy that we put into water really has been proven to have substantial impact on our bodies. If you are in a negative mood and the water's near you and the water's been thrashed about and there's no love for what you're doing with the water, then how can that water, that food, that whatever it is that you're putting into your body, how can that help you? If you're eating and drinking and sleeping under duress, stress, um, it's not going to affect you in a way that is beneficial to your well-being. And so I've got this water, and I'm going to take a drink of it here on camera. Just water, right? But it's that belief and that love for this water that is curing. Some people might say, I like to play devil's advocate on everything, question everything. It's my true nature. Is, well, maybe it's just placebo, self-fulfilling prophecy. If you feel like if you're taking something healthful, then of course you're going to have a good reaction to it. Well, sure. Isn't that true of everything in life? If a doctor gives you pills and you really believe those pills are going to help you, won't they to a certain extent? I mean, some could argue against that. No, I'm just too sick. They don't know what they're doing. Right. But I'm saying, in general, self-fulfilled prophecy has a lot to do with the outcome of people's well-being. Anyhow, I didn't have a super direction with everything I wanted to say. I just thought that some of these points might be some things that you could pull from and maybe inspire you in your day. I have found a doctor through my friend in the Amazon of Ecuador who gave me this water. She told me of a man who is a doctor in Italy who is healing people with sodium bicarbonate, essentially baking soda, working with tumors and cancers. And if you're in a position where you're sick and you're feeling ill a lot of the time, wouldn't you try everything that you possibly could to feel better, to heal? Well, that's the position that I'm in currently. And so I want to go for this. I want to go for this. I've also heard about another man in Brazil who has been doing operations, non-FDA approved. Of course, a lot of things are non-FDA approved, like cannabis, CBD, even chamomile tea, saying on the box that it relaxes you. It says these statements have not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. Of course not. Why do you think that is? I believe that it's because some of these natural foods cannot be produced in a laboratory, hence big pharma companies and lobbyists are not making money off of it. Something like Keppra, levetiracetam, triliptal, or azepam, ativan, all those things are things that we can't likely make ourselves. So we're dependent on an industry that is fueled by our need and our illnesses. In certain circumstances, though, people truly are ill and need curing and healing. I would put myself in that category, and I believe that I have a lot to give in my life, and I really want to succeed and prove to myself and show others that there is true healing out there. It might not be for everyone, but I think the belief in the truth of the possibilities of the mind and the spirit curing, or simply healing is what I should say, is so powerful that we all hold that truth and can manifest that great change if we are able to stay focused on our goal. Now, I know asking for money is a part of that, and people see that because money is so valued in our society. How much you make, what are you worth, how much does that cost? It's a capitalist society. That's just the way it is. For better or for worse, that's just the way it is. And not having access to funds can be the greatest detriment to someone's health these days. I mean, I've been blessed to always have friends that help me figure it out and sort things out, and trust in the fact that what I'm doing is not just blowing money for a good time, but actually working to heal. And that is exactly what I am trying to do right now. And also in the process, maybe I'll be able to visit some of my family in Pagoviano, Italy. And so I'm asking if you can support my efforts to get me there, and maybe pay this doctor who has some insights that could potentially offer some curation and definitely some healing in the journey. The journey is what it's all about. And for good, better, best, or worse, it's going to be a wonderful process, and I believe it will happen. Just like Ecuador, I had a lot of plans to go to Peru, to go to potentially Chile, Machu Picchu, Bolivia. I didn't know. I had all these ideas. Maybe just even going down to Puyo in the Amazon. None of this happened. I ended up in Quito meeting up with Gabriela Aguirre, and she gave me this water. This water is symbolic of hope. It's symbolic of change. It's symbolic of my healing. It's symbolic of a life worth living. And I just have to believe. I was like, well, Gabby, what if it breaks in my checked luggage? What if? And she just like put her hand on my shoulder and she said, it won't. Don't worry about it. It won't. So I'm learning not to stress about things that haven't even happened yet. But I'm asking if you can make happen now my ability to begin this journey so that we can cure our thoughts of this misconception that we need pills and that we need a certain system of thinking, an ideology that says there is no answer, there is no hope. There is hope. And with that light going off, I'm going to bid you adieu. But I want to thank you. And anyways, I have a call here anyways, and I got to take it. So thank you. God bless you. And please help me out if you can by kicking down to my GoFundMe page. If not, thanks for listening. I really appreciate your time. All right? Much love and much respect. This is Angelo Ieso saying peace and love.